In this video, we're going to go over how to create pages within the CMS. So if you're following along in the packet with us, we're on page 11. Otherwise, go ahead and log in to your site. Within your site, you'll see this main folder that you're working in. Mine's Train 133. Yours will be some other train site or the site that you're working with that your department has issued you. And when you create the main landing page that you want people to see when they come to your site, it will go in here. That's something that we go over in CMS too if you want to take that class. Otherwise, today we're going to create a folder within Teaching and Research. So if you go ahead and click this arrow, you should already have created this folder when we went over the folders section. Go ahead and go in there, go to Add Content, Default, and Page. Within this Choose Page Type window, we're going to switch over to all the way down at the bottom, uwio.edu, because this is where all of the page templates are stored. These are all different kinds of templates that you can use for your site, and we'll go over all of them in CMS too, again, if you want to take that. But for today, we are going to use College Department Overview. Choose that. And it brings up this page to ask you a few questions about what you want to do with that page. The first thing we need to do is add a page name. We have to call all of our main pages within a folder index. When the computer goes to look for your page within a folder, it's always going to look for the page called index. So I'll give an example of that. Over here, where we were looking at the different views between what is viewed publicly on our page and what we can view in the background, you see that there's all these different tabs under the menu, and people can click on any one of these to go to that page. These are all folders within your CMS that you've created, and we talked about that when we went over folders. So when you go back into your CMS and someone clicks on that tab and the correlating folder, it's going to look for a page within that folder, and it's automatically going to go to any page within that folder called index. So we want to call our main page index. And then we want to check that we're putting it in the correct folder. I want mine under Teaching and Research, so that's correct. Then we'll go ahead and create the display name. This is going to be shown at the top of your page. So I'll go over and show this example. When I hover over the tab, it shows Symposium, Pipe, Wyoming Pathways from Prison, Pipe, University of Wyoming. That's going to be our display name. So we'll go ahead and make this one Teaching and Research, Pipe. In your pipe key, if you hit Shift and then the key just above Enter, that's where you will find that pipe key. I call it Teaching and Research, College of Health Sciences, Pipe, University of Wyoming. Next, we'll add our title. This is what's going to show up as the main name on your page. So I'll just call this one Teaching and Research. You want to ensure that this is shown in navigation so that when we go over to this page like we were looking at, it will show up as one of these tabs that people can click on. The only reason why you would want to create a page but not have it shown in navigation is if you wanted it to be something that you can click on within your main page. So for example, if you had a faculty directory and within your main index page you had pages for every one of your faculty members and you wanted people to be able to click on those pages, you don't want that to be visible in all of these tabs, but you do want people to be able to click on them. So you would not include that in the navigation. This one we do want to include in our navigation, so we'll leave that clicked. Under your section title, you have to add a large title. This is going to be what comes up at the top of your page. I'm going to call mine Teaching and Research again. That's going to come up in a big bold heading style. If I wanted a smaller title to go underneath that in a smaller style, I could add that here. I'm not going to do that right now. Then we get to choose our masthead image for our page. So go ahead and scroll down, click on this arrow next to masthead image. We do want to display a masthead image at the top of our page. We're going to go ahead and choose which picture we want to use. If you want to put in your own masthead image, you can search it up from your computer here. They do have pretty specific sizing requirements, so if you want to learn how to create your own masthead image with the right sizes, you can take our image editing class online. Otherwise, there are some masthead images that UW has provided. You can find them under Browse. And then again, you have to switch to that uwyo.edu site. And those images are within this Shared Assets folder. We need images, and we're going to go down to masthead images. Here are all of the images that we have as options preloaded for our masthead. You can go ahead and look at all of the names of them and decide what you think might be best for your website. I like Campus Aerial Fall. That sounds like it's going to be pretty. Once I click on it, I can see a little preview. That does look awesome. Might not have that much to do with teaching and research, so let's go ahead and keep looking. Let's see if we could find a College of Health Sciences one. Oh, College HS. How about Nursing Student? That looks like a great one to use for our page. So we'll go ahead and choose that. And then we're going to create an alt text for it. Alt text is just a description of our image that would be read out if someone was using an assistive website reader, if they couldn't see the page. So our alt text, I'm going to say that this is a UW nursing student on campus. That way if someone is using a reader to look at this page, it'll read, oh, I spelled nursing wrong. It'll read that out and they'll know what that picture is of, even if they can't see it. We're all done with masthead image, so I'm going to click on that to close it up. And then we're going to try adding some content to our page. So let's go to Row under this module layout, click the arrow, go to Content Selection, and for this one we're going to create a 1-column row. It's basically the same concept that applies to a 2-column row, but if you want to get into these other types, those will go over in CMS too. So click on 1-column row, and we can go ahead and add some text in here. I'll go over and show you what this is going to look like. This is a 1-column row where all the way across your page it's just text. Down under here we have a 2-column row where half of our column is text and the other half is a picture, and then there's some other types that you can make, but those are the difference there. So when we go ahead and add text into our 1-column row, you may want to copy your text over from a Word doc or from something else. So I'm going to go ahead and steal my text for this from this template page over here, copy it, and then if I were to just paste this in here, it would try to steal the formatting from this page and make it all wonky. So I'm going to go to Edit, Paste as Text, and it's going to take all the formatting out and just paste it all as text. And when I right click, it doesn't even give me the option to paste in here. So I'm going to do Control V, paste all of that in. Now that we've got that text in there, we can go ahead and format it. If you go ahead and hit Enter after what you've pasted, you can see it puts all of your text into the same format and left aligns it. You can see this little P at the bottom. This means that it put it into paragraph format. And then from there, we can change whatever we want into different formats. So I want this Rise to Prominence to be a heading on my page. I'll go ahead and select it. I'll go up to Formats, Headings, and I already had a large heading at the top of my page. This one's going to become Heading 2. The purpose of putting headings in is so that when assistive technology like e-readers goes through and reads the page out loud to someone, it can just skip and read the headings rather than making that person read all of the text on the page. We don't allow all sorts of different formats for text like you could in Word. You can't change it to any font or size that you want because we want all of the UW sites to look the same. So if everyone were choosing their own formats and fonts, it would not look uniform across all the pages. So we only have a few formats that we can use, all of these headings and then that regular paragraph format. And now we can go ahead and make any other changes that we wanted to. So on the page that we were looking at, those different goals are bullet pointed. So let's see if we can bullet them within here. Might take a little bit of finagling. There we go. Now that looks like what we wanted it to. This is looking good. I think I want to put a separation before I include this read more. So if I wanted to put like this yellow bar here, we can insert that horizontal line. We go up to Insert, and there's just that tool for a horizontal line right there. Puts it in there, looks great. On our sample page, this last line of text had a link in it. That takes us to a new page with this UW Tier 1 initiative. So I want my page to link to that also. I'll go ahead and copy that. I'm going to highlight this Tier 1 Engineering Initiative. I can go up and insert a new hyperlink for it. It's an external link that I'm going to. If I wanted to link to something internal, that would be another page within my CMS site, but the only page I have right now is Teaching and Research. I want to link to something external. So I'll go ahead and put in that link that we just copied. Make sure I didn't copy, yep, I copied this HTTP in there. Don't need that twice. And I want to make sure that my target is a new window. So we saw when we clicked on this link, it opened up that link into a new window. We want to do that so that people can easily come back to our main site without having to navigate back and forth. So I've got that target new window, click OK, and that put that link in. Next, let's look at some other links that we could put in here. So we have this other page that we already linked to. Let's say read our main newsletter. And this is something that we'll assume we've written up into a PDF, and we want people to be able to click on it and go there. So we'll highlight that main newsletter, insert a link, and since we're linking to a PDF, that's something that we'll need to have put into our files folder underneath there, probably within Docs. And we already have a sample PDF that we can use for that. So go to Choose File within this internal, so since it's something we already put in. We'll go to Browse within our Train 133, Files, Docs. Let's link that to our sample document. We want this to open in a new window also, and we'll click OK. Now when someone clicks Read Our Main Newsletter, that'll open into that PDF. Let's make our next one visit the NIH site. NIH is the National Institute of Health. So if we want to link to that on our Health Sciences page here, we'll go ahead and copy that, or highlight that, insert the link. This is another external link that we're going to. We'll go ahead and paste it into there. I copied it over from the page that I want to go to already. I've got that nih.gov. I want it to say NIH site. Again, I want it to open in a new window, and I can click OK. So now we've got some information that people can read about us, some information they can read about the NIH government site. Maybe someone wants to email us if they need more information. We can go ahead and put that in there too. We'll say email the department chair. You can go ahead and just highlight all of that. Go to Insert Edit Link. This is going to be an external link, and we can put in mail to and the department chair's email. We'll just use the email for IT training. computer.training@uwio.edu. And that makes it so that when they click on this, the computer reads this mail to, and it goes ahead and opens whatever email software they have on their computer. We want it to say email the department chair. We want that to open in a new window with whatever their software is. Click OK. And now we've got that link in there. That's looking great. So let's go ahead and add in another section. So this is a one column row, this whole area that we've put in. Let's do another one of those. So scroll up to row. We can add a new row. Here's where it put our new row down below the first one that we made. Under content selection, I'm going to do another one column row, and I'm going to put a picture in here. So these two tabs here say Insert Edit Image, Insert Edit Media. These are where you would click to embed a picture or a video into your site. I'll go ahead and Insert Edit an Image. I'm going to use one of the pictures that we already uploaded. So I clicked on Choose File, Browse. I'm going to go within my Train 133 site, Files, Images. And here are all of the images that we uploaded for our sample files. Let's do Homepage Family. Ooh, that looks like a good one. Choose that. And now the site's asking me to add a description to the image. If I try to just go ahead and click OK, it's going to insist that I add something in there. This is what will be read out by an assistive screen reader if someone is using that kind of technology to look at our page. So this is a picture of the family sculpture in Prexy's pasture. I'm just going to put that on there. And it's just a short little description that will be read out of that image. I'll click OK, and there's my image in there. If we wanted to add an image that wasn't already uploaded into our site in here, we do that the same way. Go to Insert Edit Image, choose a file, and we can upload something from our computer into here, or we can go to Browse, search for that uwyo.edu where all the templates are, and under Shared Assets there's all kinds of images that the university has provided that we can use there. So that's always an option too, but I'm not going to do that right now. We're going to be able to preview our site in just a minute, but first I want to mention what we're looking at right here on our CMS page now is our full screen editing option. If we wanted to go into the source code for our site, that button is right here, source code, and all we have in this row is our image. So it shows where we got that image from, the alt text that we've provided, the width and height, and that we didn't assign it a class. This is useful if you want to embed code for things like Google Forms to have it directly added to your page and allow people to take a survey right from your page. If you do want to use this, you're welcome to come to one of the CMS Open Labs and they will help you out with that. We do always advise working with WebHelp when using this source code. Those are the gentlemen that offer the CMS Open Labs, or you can always email them at webhelp@uwyo.edu. Once we have this picture in here, we can right-click on it, and Image takes us back to that page that we were just on with the editing, or we can link it. This makes your image into a link, where when someone clicks on the image, it takes them to a different page. This shouldn't be used unless you're going to make it incredibly obvious that what they're clicking on is a link to something else. You can't just put a picture up and put a link behind it and hope that people are going to think to click on your image. A good example of an image that has been linked is just on our main UW website. These little buttons right here, those are images, but it's obvious that if you click on them, it's going to take you to the UW at a distance page. We don't want to just make our main masthead or anything clickable, because no one is going to think to click on that. So we'll go back over. This is not an obvious image, so I'm not going to link it. But now we have our image in there. One other thing I do want to mention with this is that if you're uploading your own images over here, and it's a photo that you've taken and you want to use on your website, you need to have a model release form from anyone that might be represented in the picture. The university regulations require that we cannot use people's images for marketing without their permission, and putting a picture on your web page counts as marketing. So be sure that you get that form filled out if there's anyone in your pictures, and that form can be found on the UW Public Relations page. There's a link to that in your packet on page 16. I'll go ahead and close out of all of this. And next we are going to add in some contact information. You can add this in just by scrolling down below our content selection to contact info. Leaving this section default selected will automatically pull the contact information from your site's landing page. And once you have those, it will be displayed at the bottom left corner of your page. So let's see if we can find a page that has that on it. That's the academic calendar. Here we go. So on this page for the legislative initiatives for the university, down here at the bottom left it says contact us, and it has all of the information that they have put in. For ours, I'm going to select content below, and then this will pull your contact information from whatever we typed on there. We are the College of Health Sciences in this example. I'm not going to put our address in there. Maybe a phone number. We're 307-766-0000. I can put an email address in there for our department. healthsci@uwyo.edu. I can link to another page. And then I can put in some links to other social media sites that maybe we want visitors for our page to come look at us on there. For example, UWIT Training has our own Facebook page. So if we were creating a website for that and we wanted people to go over and look at the Facebook page to find out more about our upcoming classes, we could just put that Facebook link in right here, and that'll help people find out how to get to our Facebook page. Now that we have all of the content that we want in here, we're ready to publish. So we can go ahead and save and preview our changes. It says your draft is saved. I can submit it and get ready to publish it, or if I just wanted to save it as a draft, I can always go back and find that draft under my content up here. There's this tab for drafts, and I can see this is my most recent draft of my Teaching and Research Index page. It says I just saved that a few seconds ago, and then I can click on it to go back in there and edit. I can see everything that we wanted in there. We've got our text, our link to the Facebook page, our contact information, all of our other links that we put in there, and our picture. So let's go ahead and submit it. I can put some comments in, like this time I added Facebook link if I wanted to keep track of what I was doing every time I resubmitted it. So we'll check content and submit. And it came up with a few spelling errors that I have. It doesn't think that NIH is a word, and it doesn't like these parts of two links. I know that those aren't misspelled, so I can just go ahead and click finish. Your changes have been saved to the system. Would you like to publish them? I can either click right here to publish, or I can go up here to this cloud button and hit publish. This asks where we want to publish it to. So if you are using your own site, you'll have a different option for destination to publish it out to a www live site. For now, I only have the option to publish it to a web dev site. If you go over to page 18 of the handout, this shows the different options for publishing. You have your CMS, which isn't published out to anything, and then you have the option to publish it out to a www.live site, which is publicly available on the internet, or just to a web dev site where you can only access it from computers that are connected to the UW network. And the purpose of this is just to test out how your site would look when it's live. Once you've checked it on the web dev site, you think it looks good, you can go ahead and publish it live. So since we are on a training site, we only have the option to publish it to web dev. We're just going to go ahead and publish it there. Click publish. And it said it published. So then we can go over to our web dev site. And to get there, we go to webdev.uwyo.edu/ the name of your site. Mine is Train 133. And then you want to go to the page within that we've created that we want to look at. Mine is this Teaching and Research. That's autofilling because I've already looked at it a couple of times. We'll hit enter. And this shows us what our page will look like when we publish it live. We can check that the links work. That link to email wants to open my Outlook, which is exactly what I want it to do. Our Tier 1 Engineering Initiative opens in a new window like we wanted it to. Our May newsletter opens our sample document. And the NIH site also links in a new window. This is exactly what we wanted, so our site is ready to go.